I have 5 delicious, easy chicken recipes to share with you today. If you're not following Weight Watchers, don't worry, because no matter what health journey you're on, you will definitely want to add these to it. My husband Jason loves Mexican street corn. When I saw this recipe, I knew I had to make it. This is Mexican street corn chicken. For seasonings, I'm starting off with 1.5 teaspoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a pinch of cayenne. I'm gonna stir this together to combine all of these yummy flavors. Oh my goodness, that smells really good. I placed a little bit of oil in the bottom of my pan and I am heating that up. So I placed the seasoning on both sides of the chicken and I also rubbed it in a little bit so it kind of sticks to the chicken. Now I'm gonna cook these all the way through in that oil and then I'll show you my next step. I have removed the chicken and added a little more oil to my pan. I have it on medium-high heat because you want your pan hot. I'm using frozen corn, about 1.5 cups of frozen corn, but you really want this to cook good and almost brown. I'm gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder to this corn. I'm gonna mix it in really well and let it continue to cook and sear up really good in this pan. All of the correct measurements are going to be below with every single recipe that I'm sharing this week. All of these recipes I have found on Emily Bites, and with each recipe at the bottom of it under the ingredients and the instructions of how to cook them, she has an option where you can just click a link and it takes you right into your Weight Watcher app and calculates it for you on your personal points, which I think is so super convenient. I'm excited about that. So for me, this meal is only 4 points. Now that the corn is cooked, I think it looks almost perfect, don't you? It took about 5 minutes or so. I am going to add a tablespoon of mayonnaise. Mix that in really well. It just melts because the corn is still warm. I'm gonna add 1/8 teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of light sour cream. Oh, it looks so good already, doesn't it? Next is a teaspoon of lime juice. I have 1 ounce of crumbled queso fresco cheese. I'm gonna add that into the corn. And I also have some chopped cilantro. I'm gonna add that in there. I'm gonna give it a really good stir. I wish I could show you how good this smells right now. Trust me, you definitely have got to try this recipe. So you just take that corn mixture, you put it on top of the chicken, and there it is. Oh my goodness. You gotta give this a try. Grab it. It's down below in the description. Tonight's dinner is another really delicious one. It is barbecue rubbed chicken bites. I'm sure you could do this on whole chicken too, but I have mine cut into bite-sized pieces. So there's quite a bit of seasonings that go into this meal, so let me show you what I'm putting together. In a small bowl, I'm adding a teaspoon of packed brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, and onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, and dry mustard, 1/2 teaspoon of celery salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and allspice. I'm gonna give this a really good mix. So in a Ziploc bag, or you can put this in a bowl as well, I have my chicken. I'm gonna put some of this rub in with the chicken, just half of it. I'm gonna get this rubbed around this chicken, and then I'll add the other half. Okay, I am really massaging this into the chicken so that every single piece has it coated. So I'm kind of just taking my time and wiggling the bag around, and it says you can shake it, but there's no shaking to it. It's basically a rub, so you're just working it right into that chicken. I have a pan on the stove, and that's where we're headed next. I'm gonna get a little bit of oil in my pan. I'm gonna get this heating up before I add that chicken. This meal is so easy and it comes together so quickly. So if you're in a hurry on a busy weeknight, or maybe even a weekend, maybe from sports or whatever is going on in your life, and you need something quick, this is definitely a meal for you. That's basically it for this dinner. I'm just gonna let the chicken cook through thoroughly, and I will show it to you once it's finished. See, I told you it was super easy, quick, and super delicious too. So this is our dinner. Oh my goodness, it looks so good. All right, I'm totally cheating with sides. Do you want to see what we're doing? KFC macaroni and cheese, KFC coleslaw, and mashed potatoes and gravy. I figured the meal was super easy to put together. Might as well continue on with the whole thing being super easy. So that is dinner tonight, and I am looking very forward to it. Tonight's dinner is strawberry balsamic grilled chicken. Doesn't that sound good? Oh my goodness. All right, so first I'm gonna start off by putting together a marinade. In a Ziploc bag, I am adding a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Oh, this is gonna be so flavorful and delicious. 2 minced garlic cloves, 4 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, and 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I placed 4 skinless boneless chicken breasts into my bag. Now I'm gonna mix up the chicken and all of that delicious marinade and let it sit for the day and pick up those flavors. I can marinate this from an hour up to 12 hours. So it's gonna be perfect sitting in my refrigerator for the day, and it is going to be absolutely delicious tonight. I just put the chicken out on the grill, so that is cooking up and getting ready for dinner. Meanwhile, in a bowl, I am doing this. I have about 12 ounces of strawberries chopped up, and I also have about 1 to 2 tablespoons of fresh basil chopped up. I'm adding 2 teaspoons of packed brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar, and 1 teaspoon of pepper. I'm gonna give this a really good mix. And I'm gonna set this mixture aside because this is gonna go over the top of the chicken. Can you not see all of the delicious flavors that's going into this meal? It smells so good. I wish I had smell-o-vision for you. Like I had said earlier, this is so full of flavor. If you're not wanting the strawberries, just try the chicken because the chicken is delicious on its own. You could also make this into a salad, and that would be very tasty as well. Tonight's dinner is a spicy chicken sandwich. Now, you can make this in the air fryer or in your oven. It's completely up to you. I'm still undecided. I don't know what to do yet. We'll see as I go along. But it is full of flavor. It has a little bit of breading on it, but the calories are kept low. So that makes it guilt-free. In this little dish, I have a tablespoon of flour and half a teaspoon of paprika. I'm gonna mix this up really well. And I'm gonna put my chicken in a Ziploc bag. I added my chicken breast, which I have cut thin, and I poured the flour and paprika over top of the chicken. I'm gonna close my bag and mix it into my chicken really well. In a shallow bowl, I have added 2 egg whites and I beat them thoroughly. I also added half a teaspoon of buffalo wing sauce. I'll show you. I am using Frank's Red Hot Wings buffalo sauce. I'm gonna mix this together really well. In another shallow bowl, I am adding half a cup of cornflake crumbs, half a teaspoon of parsley, half a teaspoon of salt, 4 teaspoons of black pepper, 4 teaspoons of cayenne pepper, 4 teaspoons of garlic powder, and onion powder. One at a time, I'm gonna take the coated chicken, I'm gonna place it in the egg mixture, and then I'm going to press it into the cornflakes mixture, and I will put it on a cookie sheet because I decided I'm just gonna throw it right into the oven. It goes on 425, so I need to start my oven really quickly. This is what they look like before they go in, but I'm gonna bake these for 8 minutes, flip, and 8 more minutes, or until my thermometer reaches the right temperature for chicken. But wait, did you think that was enough flavor? Oh, no, no, no. We're gonna continue on with the flavor. Let me show you what we're doing next. There is a sauce to go on this as well. It is 4 tablespoons of French onion dip and 2 tablespoons of buffalo sauce. I'm gonna mix this really well, put it in my refrigerator, and just let it sit there until the chicken's done. You know, I was thinking, I think that sauce would be really good to even dip like chicken nuggets or chicken tenders into. I bet you there's many more things we can think to use with that sauce. So I get 1.5 tablespoons of the sauce, so that was quite a bit of sauce. So I end up putting it on both sides of my bun and then a little bit on the chicken. I forgot tomato, but you can add tomato. I'm also gonna add lettuce, and that is the sandwich. I'm looking forward to trying this. I bet you it's gonna be delicious. Tonight we are gonna bust out our air fryers. We are making air fryer chicken tenders. Let me show you how it's done. Okay, getting kind of fancy. All right, I have this little ramekin bowl. This is gonna be perfect for the first step. So I got my little teaspoon. I'm gonna have 4 teaspoons of flour. I'm gonna add it to my ramekin bowl. Now I'm gonna take my half teaspoon and I'm gonna add a half a teaspoon of paprika into the flour. I'm gonna give this a good mix. This is gonna coat the chicken. I have skinless, boneless chicken breasts, and Jason, thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
Cut them into chicken tenders for me. Just like chicken strips, basically. In a bowl, I have 2 egg whites, and I'm going to beat it. Beat it. I may have had too much coffee, just saying. I'm gonna beat this really good. I'm gonna set this aside. To another bowl, I am adding a 1/2 cup of cornflake crumbs, 1/2 teaspoon of dried parsley flakes, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now we're switching over to a 4th teaspoon, and it is going to be pepper, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. Stir, stir, stir. I put the chicken in a gallon-sized bag, putting that flour and paprika mixture in with that chicken, and I am going to zhoosh it, really get it coated here. This is my little workstation I set up. So I have chicken. I'm gonna dip it in the egg mixture, dip both sides in the crumbs and seasoning mixture, and then I'm gonna place it right into my air fryer. So the instructions say to not have your chicken touching, so I don't. I'm gonna do this in batches. I'm only gonna stick with 4. I could probably get more in there, but I'm not gonna press it. I'm also going to spray this with some cooking spray. And then I'm gonna cook this on 390 for 5 to 6 minutes. Flip the chicken and do another 5 to 6 minutes on 390 again. For a side, I am just keeping it simple, and I'm going to have these instant mashed potatoes. They're the buttery home style. These cook up in just minutes. And I should do a vegetable. I have a can of peas, or I have a can of beets. So I'm gonna have one or the other, but I didn't realize I'm running out of vegetables. Out here in the freezer, I do have these vegetables for vegetable soup. Jason's come up with a little concoction here. He's gonna boil them in a little bit of water, and then we're gonna saute them too to make them all crispy and nice, right?
Yep.
He has a little bit of water in the pan. We're gonna put a cover on it and let that cook. And this back here, if you're wondering, that's Cooper's chicken. The air fryer just ended, so it's time to flip the chicken. Wow, these look really good already. Some ideas for this chicken. This would be really good in salad, and it would also be really good like chicken sandwiches. Pitas, wraps.
Just on your plate.
Just on your plate. That's how we're eating tonight.
Hey, that's a good idea.
It is a good idea. Bing! These are fresh out of the air fryer. Oh my goodness, don't those look delicious? This is dinner tonight. This looks so good. This is mashed potatoes. Here are the mixed vegetables. I put a little bit of butter on mine, spray butter. In case you haven't watched them, here are 2 of my latest videos. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon.